You know that Easter egg where the first 7 notes of Over the Rainbow from The Wizard of Oz?
Somewhere over the rainbow
Became the first 7 notes in the unlimited theme of Wicked?
unlimited, my future.
But what I didn't mention was the fact that that Over the Rainbow connection goes way beyond the unlimited theme and even runs through the entire first act, which corresponds to the first film, Wicked Part 1. And I think that's why the ending vocal riff in Defying Gravity hits with so much power. This is how the Defying Gravity vocal riff works.
I will, long after I'm gone, the lyric for which I'm known will be the end of Defying Gravity when she sings, ah.
How could a wordless vocal riff become so important to the musical Wicked, and why does it have so much power? In my previous video, I talked about how Stephen Schwartz used the perfect fifth to represent Elphaba's natural power, and the ending vocal riff makes use of that perfect fifth. But what I didn't mention is that the riff as originally sung in the Broadway musical consists of a perfect fifth up and then a major second down. It's this 3-note melody that we see over and over in pivotal parts of the score, and I'm not just talking about random moments, I'm talking about the actual chorus of different songs. In the song Something Bad, it's the chorus of the song sung on the words Something Bad.
Something bad.
In the song One Short Day, it's the chorus of the song sung on the words One Short Day.
One short day.
Which is important as the song that cements the friendship between Elphaba and Glinda, which then culminates in this 3-note melody being sung with the words Two Good Friends.
Two good friends.
And that leads us to Defying Gravity, where yes, that 3-note phrase appears at the end of the song, but it actually appears throughout the entire song as well. And what I mean is that these 3 notes actually begin the chorus of the song.
It's time to try.
So with all these repetitions, by the time we hear the riff at the end of the movie or the first act, it feels familiar and almost inevitable. And even though in the film Cynthia Erivo's riff adds a few notes, the outline is still tracing the same 3-note phrase. This is a pretty common technique in composition where composers will take a theme and repeat it over and over, but then they will start to add variations to it to keep our interest and show the development of that theme. So in a way, the blossoming of this theme with Cynthia Erivo's vocals adds to the power that Stephen Schwartz is trying to create. Except that's not all. There's a way that you could actually derive this 3-note phrase directly from the song Over the Rainbow, which makes it even more amazing. See, the melody of Over the Rainbow is a series of leaps up followed by a step or a half step down. The first leap up goes to the 8th note or octave note on a scale and comes down to the 7th.
Somewhere.
Then we get a leap up to the 6th note of the scale, which goes down to the 5th.
Way up high.
Then we finally get a leap up to the 4th note of the scale, which goes down to the 3rd.
There's a land.
And it's been said that this melody perfectly represents Dorothy's journey, where she first dreams of going over the rainbow, but then eventually must find her way back home, back to the home or the first note of the scale.
There's no place like home.
So did Stephen Schwartz lift the Defying Gravity vocal riff from Over the Rainbow? Well, no. The Over the Rainbow melody went from the 8th to the 7th, the 6th to the 5th, and the 4th to the 3rd. But Stephen Schwartz's vocal riff actually goes from the 2nd note in the scale down to the 1st note, or the same note that the home chord is based on. A new variation on this melodic pattern that actually completes the pattern from Over the Rainbow. See, rather than using these exact notes in Wicked, Stephen Schwartz appears to have been more inspired by them and wants to remind us of Over the Rainbow rather than using the exact notes. And that's why even though the Unlimited theme does use the first 7 notes notes of Over the Rainbow, he changes the rhythm and harmony behind it to sort of mask that connection. And by doing this, Stephen Schwartz implies that his music belongs in the world of Oz, but also that it is adding a new perspective. Because there is one more place where you can hear this 3-note melody, and it's a heartbreaker. It appears in the opening number, No One Mourns the Wicked, and just as the Ozians are condemning Elphaba, Glinda sings this counter melody, the same melody of her friend.
Two good friends.
See, most of the story in Act 1 and the first film of Wicked is being told in a flashback, and so when Glinda is singing this 3-note riff as a counter melody, she is literally countering the crowd with this secret tribute to her friend, whom she alone can see the good in. In the film, Ariana Grande even sings a new version of the 3-note riff, adding another variation to it just as her friend Elphaba did. And what's worse is she's singing it on the words, unbeknownst to the crowd, Glinda is pouring her heart out over her friend who just died by singing her iconic riff. This moment hits even harder when you realize Glinda had done a variation on this melody before, taking Elphaba's melody of
Two good friends
and changing it into
Two best friends.
And upon reflection, we realize this moment in No One Mourns the Wicked was really Glinda's way of holding space for her bestie. I've added new merch to my store on CrowdMade. The new 8-Bit Elfie t-shirt and hoodie design came out of my previous Wicked video, and someone said I should put it on merch, so I did. And if you buy the hoodie soon, you can use code PERFECT5 for 15% off. Go check that out in the link below. Thanks again for watching. I'd like to thank my patrons on Patreon, and see you all in 2025. Peace.